Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Madmen with a Box live for the 150th time. I'm your host, Pixel.
Wow.
He's your host, Chris. We are joined,
me.
of course, by Gevain and Joe of the Corallo.
Hello.
We're here today to discuss our topic of the day, which is reviewing the Caretaker from Season 8.
You'd think we'd pick something better for 150 episodes.
You'd think we would, but, you know, well wait.
I was going to open with, I'm so glad we're finally reviewing a bad episode of Doctor Who.
Where everybody get off their razor.
Hasn't it been all bad recently?
When have we been reviewing good episodes of Doctor Who? All right. We have two pieces of news to talk about, though.
Cool.
San Diego Comic-Con, those of you lucky enough to go, which includes Landry of the Quinn Walkers, they will get a chance to go ahead and see the Black Archive coming to San Diego. So,
yeah, I laughed when this announcement came out, and everyone's like, "We're getting Doctor Who news. Maybe it's season 3." Then it's like, it's Black Archive, it's Unit, it's about the fucking spin-off. Don't kid yourself. unless for some reason if Russell's there for the thing and he's just like, "Good news, everyone, we're going ahead with season 3."
Isn't the Black Archive isn't that the
It's
the
Units.
exhibit? It's an exhibit.
Isn't it an exhibit?
Yeah, that's why it's coming. It's going to San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh,
It's
I've never
Doctor
heard
Who
of it
exhibit.
before.
No, it's not a news thing.
No, but the Black Archive thing is Unit in the show.
Yeah, I know. But
So,
it's also the name of their not Doctor Who experience, but their exhibit that they have.
pop-up store thing.
Yeah.
Oh, never heard of it before.
Well, that's because none of us live in the UK.
Oh, that's true. We don't care about the British here.
That's right. Whoever liked them.
Yeah, idiots.
That's neat, and we're going to have to pester Landry to tell us all about it. Or not. I don't know. We'll
Like,
see.
look, they're selling the Meep right there.
That is a cool-looking action figure, though. I have to admit that. That is the coolest action
You know, it's only a couple of years late.
It's a couple of years late, yeah.
You know, why bother releasing it around the time of the 60th when you can release it 2 years later?
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of better late than ever, I guess. We get the Doctor and Belinda in New Adventures in the comics.
Oh, wow, they're actually rewriting the finale. I guess the finale didn't happen.
It's so funny how bad the timing is on this.
So bad.
Like, genuinely horrible, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's almost like they're mocking us.
And, you know, I should be excited because there is actually a version of this cover that actually shows the creatures behind there. The claw.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
So
the
what is
claws. Can you guess what that's from?
It's Slovene.
Yep. But look at that blob on the left-hand side. What do you think that's from?
Is that an adipose?
It's an adipose! I
Wow.
love the adipose! I want more adipose, but
Then what's the other ones
like,
then?
I have no idea. I forgot. I saw the adipose, and that's all I cared about.
It's the worst timing for this. Like, the absolute worst. Like, the interest in Shooty Doctor is at its lowest. Like, you gotta wait a little bit, and then after the sting of the what the fuck with all of this is like past, then yeah, like I definitely am interested in like going and exploring Shooty's era in different media, but like not for like a year, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this is not. I'm like, no, sorry. There's no way this is going to sell remotely well.
No. But at least it eventually came out, right?
Oh, well, that's all right then.
Yeah, that's all I got.
I love how you have two versions of that. You just say, well, that's all right then. Then you have the angry, well, that's all right.
Well, that's all right then. I know. I got them both right here.
Yeah, it's just, as Joe said, this comic is just, it's a weird time to, it's a bad time to release it. I still have yet to listen to those 2 audiobooks that I got.
I didn't buy them.
I've heard they're good, but I've yet to listen to them yet.
Do you know the amount of effort it took for me to go ahead and finally listen to the new the new Jodie Whittaker thing? Not because of Jodie, but because just every time I think about Doctor Who, I just get sad. I put on the Caretaker. I was like, I'm sad. It's all sad.
Yeah, no.
That's just the Caretaker.
Yeah, no. Oof.
Anyway, enough.
As usual, there really isn't any news. There's, I don't know, John Barrowman complaining that he's not in a convention. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I don't. Like, buddy.
Season 13 is getting its collection release.
Oh, right. They didn't do
the second season. I think weirdly, this is also weirdly timed. I thought, honestly, after whether you liked it or not, after Empire of Death, I thought they would have wanted to release this because it has Pyramids of Mars. But so season 13 is the next to come out in the Doctor Who collection range. It's Tom Baker's second season. So we're getting all this new stuff. You know, they're getting looking at all these specials. Worlds Within, which is a profile of Ian Marter, who played Harry Sullivan. Philip Hinchcliffe is revisiting locations from the season 13 stories. Then also you've got all the Terror of the Zygons is getting updated special effects for this release. I haven't watched Terror of the Zygons, so I don't know what is going to be updated in that episode. Interestingly enough, the 2024 edit of Pyramids of Mars for Tales of the TARDIS is going to be in this. That they did with Shooty and Ruby Sunday.
Okay.
15 and Ruby Sunday. Other than that, all your usual extra stuff. But no, so far that's I've watched half of the episodes in that season. So I've watched Pyramids of Mars. No, I've watched 4 out of the 6 episodes of that season. Pyramids of Mars, Android Invasion, Brain of Morbius, and Seeds of Doom. You have 2 really good episodes there. And I did like Seeds of Doom for a bit.
Yeah, like the Android Invasion, not that great.
That's boring.
No, Terror of the Zygons, Brain of Morbius, and Pyramids of Mars, I feel like are the standouts that season. It's
I can't remember
a lot of
Planet
people.
of Evil.
Yeah, Planet of Evil's fine. It's people rank this season very highly because they're like Tom Baker pilled and he's the greatest. And this is, if you're going to take a season of Tom Baker, because like, I think I brought this up before, but like the dirty secret about Tom Baker is half his episodes, at least, like blow. If not more than half. I would say more than half. And honestly, I think his most consistent season is 18.
His last one. Yeah.
I really think it's like, it's hard to like, that one has some of my all-time favorite Tom Baker stories. Because that's the problem, right? Is like, you go to like his first season and it's got Genesis the Daleks and the Ark in Space and a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, Robot is fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
Sontaran Experiment. I haven't watched it in a while, so I can't say anything about Sontaran
It's
Experiment.
fine.
And Revenge of the Cybermen is not good.
Yeah, no, Revenge of the Cybermen, I think it's safe to say, is a below average Cyberman story, if not one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
It's like that and Wheel in Space. Or like...
I'd throw Silver Nemesis in there as well.
Yeah.
The Cybermen are kind of pointless in that episode.
Yeah, but like... But it's funny because I did, like, for whatever reason, I was on a classic Who kick. Like, since we were last on here, I've watched 10th Planet, Moonbase, Web of Fear, Inferno, The Demons, and Curse of Peladon. So, really got a lot in. It's good stuff. I mean, I've seen all of those before, but still, it was a fun time.
Yeah, so with this release, there's only, one season? Yeah, season 16 is all that's left for Baker's Run to be updated for the collection, and that's the Key to Time arc.
Yeah. Which blows. It's filled with a bunch of stories that are fine. It's like, do you want a whole season of mid with an anticlimactic ending?
Go right ahead.
Like, there's no, like, it has such little rewatchability. Like, I have watched all of those stories multiple times, but why? Why would what's the point? It's so stupid. And that segues right into another weekly shit season that also has City of Death, which is one of Tom's best stories.
Oh yeah, season 17, yeah.
Season 17 is fucking awful. It makes season 17 makes season 15 look like season 13.
Yeah, well, yeah. Let's see. Season 17, you got Destiny, which is yeah. Creature from the Pit is Nightmare of Eden is Hordes of Nymon is laughable.
Yeah, that one really.
Shada doesn't exist, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, you can't really count Shada or.
So yeah, you really only have City of Death, which is a really good episode.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how good that story is.
The Horns of Nymon give me the one cool prop that I have.
Wow, the most pointless looking sonic screwdriver, and it's not the Doctor's.
It's cool. It's
literally just a metal rod. I could just go to a construction yard, find a metal rod, and be like, "Look, I have Romana's sonic screwdriver."
I'll tell you what you can do with Romana's sonic screwdriver.
Hey now.
Anyway.
Not that kind of show.
No, it is not.
So this I thought we were segueing back into what we're reviewing today.
Oh yeah, speaking of bad.
It's late. I'm tired, man. Joe goes through so much for us. Goes through so much. Makes season 17 makes 15 look like 13. Anyway, let's talk.
Well, to be fair, season 15 has 2 really good episodes. Horror of Fang Rock and Image of the Fendel.
Yes, no, I really like both of those a lot. And also, like, and then there's stories I want to like. I want to like Invasion of Time. I do.
It's just that you look at it in hindsight and it's like, the Centaurans invaded Gallifrey? The fuck?
Like,
Who thought that was a good idea? Who wrote that? Gerald Blake? No, wait, that's the director. Who wrote that? Graham Williams and Anthony Reed?
Yeah.
Both under a pen name?
I watched the Time Warrior the other day as well, which again, one of the best. But that first Centauran appearance, great. Then the Centaurans just keep coming back, and it's fine.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Just keep if you keep bringing it back, it's just not as good. I guess.
Eventually, the Sea Devils will keep coming back worse and worse until finally it's full circle and it's the greatest they'll have ever been.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm worried to see how they're done in War Between the Land and the Sea, considering the redesigns.
Okay,
from
but
what
here's
we've
the
got.
thing. Here's the thing. If you look at because there is the humanoid one, but then they have this other one that was shown in the, I think
Which
it was
still kind of vaguely looks like a Sea Devil, and I'm like, Russell, can you just take the Chibnall design and just make it slightly better?
Cool. It looks.
I like
cool.
that. Aside from the wonky CGI, the Chibnall design in Legend of the Sea Devils is really good. It's just unfortunately a shit episode.
I agree, but I'm also of the
I
camp.
don't want yassified Sea Devils.
Stop trying.
Stop trying to make them
human one.
attractive. This is not the Shape of Water. Doctor Who.
I just hope that this time they tell a compelling story about how humanity is encroaching on undersea life and how the Sea Devils are forced to deal with that through violence until a level-headed mediator can try but ultimately fail to solve the problem.
Okay. I'm making that bet. That is what this spin-off is going to be, because that's the only idea they have when it comes to Silurians and Sea Devils. Oh no, we're trying to broker peace and something happens. Oh no. It's very boring. The only time they've only slightly deviated is Madame Vastra, but that's it. That's a Silurian character.
Man, I miss Madame Vastra.
Remember when they were a thing and then Moffat decided no? Wasn't Deep Ref literally their last episode?
I think so.
Yeah, they're just like, well, I don't need them anymore.
I mean,
Nick Briggs was like, "Hey, do you want your own series?"
Speaking of Moffat, I believe it's time to get to some of those low notes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Chris, do you want to start us off since we know you have a lot to say?
Oh sure. So the Caretaker, which is the 6th episode of Series 8 of Doctor Who, Capaldi's first full series as the 12th Doctor. It is co-written by Stephen Moffat and Gareth Roberts. And directed by Paul Murphy. So in the episode, the alien time traveler, the Doctor, goes under deep cover as the caretaker of Coal Hill School. Remember that? I clapped when I saw it. It's Coal Hill School, my favorite school with the Ians and the Barbaras. The workplace of his traveling companion Clara to stop a world-threatening robot nearby called the Skovox Blitzer. The Doctor also comes into conflict with Clara's boyfriend, former soldier Danny Pink. So, my thoughts on this episode. When I first watched it when it first came out, I thought, yeah, I didn't particularly like this episode. Kind of boring, whatever. Coming back to it, I thought, okay, there are ideas that I do find interesting and like. The whole of Clara trying to manage both sides of her life, I find interesting. The conflict that brings to both Danny and the Doctor, I find interesting. but the episode is still fucking boring. I don't like this episode. It's definitely one of Capaldi's weakest, and it's not really Capaldi's fault. I think Capaldi is just still good and whatever, but writing-wise, this episode is just very bland. It's very boring, and it just kind of ends with the whole conflict. It just kind of ends on like okay, I guess it's kind of resolved a bit until Kill the Moon happens. Okay, like the personal conflicts. It's like, okay, whatever. I don't know. I just, again, I have really nothing good to say about this episode. It sucks. Thank God it's Gareth Roberts' last episode. Thank God he's not touching Doctor Who ever again. Good riddance to bad rubbish. What I found shocking is how positive this episode got from critics.
Yeah.
This was a positively received episode of Doctor Who. And I'm like, okay, fine. You're all entitled to your opinions, but in this case, your opinions are wrong. This episode is not good. And it's like, here, look, from the Daily Mirror, 4 out of 5, funny, lighthearted, and thoroughly entertaining. I don't know where on this diagram. Show me the funny. Show me the lighthearted. Where's the thoroughly entertaining? Is it Capaldi? I can agree with that, but the episode itself, I don't know. Oh, here we go. From Den of Geek, arguably one of the best of Series 8. I'm sorry, what? The Caretaker is the best episode of Series 8?
No, they didn't say the best. They said one of the best.
I wouldn't even put it in one of. Within this series, when you have like a deep breath, you have Flatline, you have Mummy on the Orient Express. Like, come on, the Caretaker. I would even say this isn't even Gareth Roberts' best episode.
No.
You know, when he isn't busy doing another adaptation of Sharda. But yeah, overall, I think incredibly weak episode, pretty bland, pretty boring, with some interesting ideas and concepts.
Okay. Gevain, what do you think of the Caretaker?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say, first of all, to our dear departed friend who hasn't been with us in a while, Jimmy, I'd like to thank him for inviting me onto this podcast many moons ago. Apparently, it's the last time that I will be appearing on this because I thoroughly disagree with what I've heard so far about the Caretaker. I actually enjoyed this episode immensely for all the reasons that were just stated by the Daily Mirror. I thought it was lighthearted. I thought it was funny. I thought it had moments that were entertaining. I think the weakness of the episode is exactly what Chris pointed to in Kill the Moon was. It should have effing ended with Danny and Courtney on the damn TARDIS. Other words, over the last 3 years, we've all been saying, what the hell does Doctor Who have to do to turn itself around? And what it needed to do was exactly what happened in this episode. A damn soft reboot that goes right back to what the damn show was about to begin with. You start off in Cold Hill. You practically put 2 teachers in front of it. You get a damn student who's almost like a granddaughter, especially now that we have Poppy hanging around here, who would have reminded him of Susan. You introduce all the freaking character dynamics from the first episode. Cranky doctor, a young kid who's kind of feeling himself out, 2 teachers, except this time you have a dynamic where one of the teachers is really into the time travel thing, and the other teacher's like, oh, hell no, what do we all think we're doing here? You have when you're writing and you're creating team dynamics, you always want to have, at least between 3 characters, something that 2 of the characters share with each other, that they share with another character, but kind of contrast with another. And you have all those little interpersonal dynamics between these 4 people. The problem with the episode is they just didn't end it right. It just should have been these are the two new companions. They're off in the TARDIS to do whatever. He's practically broken the little kid's heart by at some point, if they had just introduced this in the first episode, this episode, that she wasn't special, blah, 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 blah. But what makes it work is you get Capaldi, who up until this point, he didn't become my doctor into this episode. I really wasn't quite sure where they were going with him or what he was going to do. But I've always liked the idea of the grumpy doctor who's kind of like bothered by having all these people around him on the ship that he didn't really want around. Clara, people have argued with me online about the doctor and Clara are in love or there's this unrequited love. I find that shit boring as hell. It's like, can we finally get off every time a companion walks in the ship, she's got to be a love interest for the doctor. The fact that you have this father-in-law, disapproving father-in-law of the guy that his daughter is dating, I found that dynamic to be way more interesting than what came after this. I just thought it was something new. It was something fresh. It was something different. The little bit where he thinks that Clara's actually dating a guy that kind of looks like his last incarnation, but then it turns out it isn't. It's the guy that he really, really disapproves of. And that there's this jealousy thing that's going on that isn't just like, oh, we're romantic rivals. It's more like, really, after all this time and after all I've shown you, you bring home basically a PE teacher. That's the kind of stuff. Hold on one second.
Oh. Dun, 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 dun.
All right, back. Yeah, I just thought it was a different dynamic, especially, and it was like a family dynamic, which I really enjoyed, that was going on with 11 when he traveled with the Ponds, but just a different version of it. Like sort of it's really the disapproving father in a sense. And you would have basically two people in the TARDIS one person in the TARDIS, Clara, who's kind of rooting for him, but kind of sees like he's gonna be a mean old bastard and like he kind of needs like to soften up. But then you have this other young lady who kind of is in the mode of Clara of like wanting to prove herself to him. And this is that, and Danny who's not approving at all. And I think Danny would have been a better version of this than what's his name? Rory was. Rory always came off as a little bit more like he really couldn't stand up to the doctor. Like he had the right ideas. Like, yo, dude, you make people do dangerous shit. And you kind of need to like be mindful of that. But with Danny, he was more forceful of it because Danny kind of to some level saw the doctor, a side of the doctor that he is being unfair about it, but it's still a side to him where it's kind of like, it plays into that thing where like it's the alien part of him. Like it's like he's just sometimes he can be so into the curiosity of the universe and so into the adventure of figuring things out, he kind of forgets about the people that are around him. Who said it? I want to say it was Martha. It's like he's kind of like fire, but if you get too close to him, you can burn. To Chris's point, it had a lot of good ideas in it, but it just fell apart at the end because they wouldn't go ahead and pull the trigger and make Danny and Courtney companions. And I don't know if that's because it seems like, at least from this episode, it was always intended for Danny only to be around for like 6 episodes and leave. But I think they should have just, if you can call an audible where Trudy turns into Billy effing Piper, then you could call an audible here and keep Danny Pick around for another season. I'm just saying.
All right. Joe of the Corallos.
No, for sure. I'm very happy that Gevain likes this episode. I'm personally just very like I do like Capaldi in this episode a lot. I think he's doing a lot of fun, interesting things with his character, leaning into some stuff that's a bit like, it's a bit different, but it also feels right for that character. I could see where people would be like, it's too goofy, that like some of the stuff he does, like, the side that it's basically like no humans allowed or whatever. It's like, okay, like you have been interacting with humans for centuries at this point, and like I don't like there's always that sort of stuff. But like one of my problems, and this isn't just a Doctor Who problem, but this happens a lot in Doctor Who, is when the monster isn't the point.
Give you that. Yep.
They don't make it as interesting as they could. It's like you should do a really interesting monster, even if it's not the focus. And it felt half-baked. It felt not quite there. I really wish the threat was stronger. It felt more like, I don't know, like when a certain monster's a threat, they don't have to tell you. Like, it's nice when they reinforce it or they state it, but they really don't have to say anything. Like when the Cybermen show up in Earthshock, you don't need anyone to explain, like, if they don't stop them, like, that it's going to be bad for everybody. It's like, no, we know. But like here, it felt like they had to tell you that the stakes were high, because otherwise you would be like, who really cares? It was an odd thing. It was cool when the one, like, cop security guard gets shot with the shot with the hands, like the crispy hands sort of falling over and all of that. That was a cool visual. I thought that was well done. There's lots of things that, like, it's kind of cool, but then it'll do other things that annoy me. Like, Clara snapping and opening the TARDIS is annoying. I don't like that.
It's even funny that when in Dark Water, she even though it's a simulation, she's just throwing away TARDIS keys so he can't get into the TARDIS, and it's like, you both know you can. The key is pointless at this point. Like, I know she's not acting rationally, and she's lost Danny, but it's like, you both know he can snap open the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if he snapped, she was going to snap right back.
There you go.
It's like that argument of, like, why don't, like, a Jedi and a Sith just use Force powers to turn off the lightsaber? Just like,
yeah.
Stop pushing my button! No.
But good point about the enemy, though. That is true. That's another weakness of the episode. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm actually more on Gevain's side, though. I enjoyed a lot of this episode. Capaldi's performance really does carry it, because when he... what is it? No humans keep out, something like that. And don't you just see the sign that says "Go away"? No, it says about humans. That's fun. That's fun. I like it when the Doctor feels a little more alien and acts it. I shrug. The monster looks fine. It's weird. It's okay, but I just don't. I'm not a big fan of it either. It's like a little more thought could have gone into that. But I do enjoy the little bit of tension you got. What's stupid is when you have Danny run in and then do a backflip over the alien's head. That's the cringy part. That's the part, like, where you have to look at the people that you're showing an episode of Doctor Who, and let's say you chose the Caretaker. Why would you choose the Caretaker if you're showing somebody? Anyway, and you're like, don't look at the, ignore this part, please.
POV, you're hanging out with members of Dead Geek. Hey, we're going to show you one of the best episodes of Series 8.
Backflip. So stupid. But there is, even though it is this awkward tension in the air, because Danny doesn't like the Doctor doesn't like Danny, and Clara's just there in the middle. Something about that ending scene of, like, that's okay. He's trying to decide if I'm good enough for you, and like, oh, is that it? Which harkens a little closer to what Gevain is saying about a fatherly role, watching over her, wanting her to be good enough. The problem is the very next episode is Kill the Moon. Literally, And at the end, he's like, well, if he ever goes too far, because I know men like that, he'll go too far. Let me know. Like, what are you going to do about it, Danny? But anyway, yeah, no. It's
well, exactly. That's the point. So the point is, if you put Danny on the ship, then you can play that out.
Yes.
Between the 4 characters.
He can actually be there to tell him, like, no, what are you doing?
Yeah, so that's why it's like Rory. It worked better with Rory because Rory was there and he would be able to confront the Doctor in his moments, like the girl who waited. Rory was dead right. It's like, what the hell, man? Really? You gonna make me make this choice? You're the reason why we're out here. This happened in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of the elements of this are. This is an episode that isn't supposed to be big. That's why the alien doesn't really matter. It's not supposed to be anything too special. It is almost a filler episode.
It's filler.
Except for the, like the small bits at the end where, we're going to go ahead and reference Missy and all that to build up to the end of the season. But other than that, this episode is one that you can easily get through. It was enjoyable. It was fine. Nothing too special, but solid, in my opinion. And that's that. Time to give it a number. Chris.
I would give it... I'd say maybe about 5-ish. Yeah, 5 out of 10, yeah. I think it's a boring and a bland episode that has some interesting ideas that just aren't executed well. But hey, Gareth Roberts' last episode, hooray.
Gevain?
It's a 6 out of 10 for me. Like you said, I agree with Chris. I agree with what you said, Pixel. It's a filler episode that, if given the elements of it involved and the callbacks, it did itself a disservice. This is the epitome of what we like to call a missed opportunity.
Okay. Joe, do you have a number for us?
Yeah, I'd say 5 out of 10. Like, it's not a bad episode, but for me, it's also not a good episode. So it's just sort of squarely right in the middle. It's right there. It's Capaldi's performance is great. There's some great moments in it, but ultimately, it's not like it just doesn't. It doesn't elevate itself to a point where it would be higher than that, and not a lot of episodes have to, so it's fine. I would, this ended up being for me, if this was in the previous 2 seasons that we discussed, especially the second one, I think this would probably rate pretty high for me.
10
comparatively. Like,
it's not the worst episode of this series.
No, it's not.
No. It's not the worst episode. Exactly. Like,
when you have In the Forest of the Night.
No.
Yeah. No, for sure. So 5 out of 10.
Totally random thought. I just remembered Josh Snare's video, and when he talked about, when they talked about the Almost People and the Rebel Flesh. No. Should have used that for Into the Forest of the Night as well. No.
I will always defend those 2 episodes. I like those episodes.
They're fine.
They were good.
I think they're solid episodes with a really good idea.
I'm gonna follow Gevain though. I think 6 is a good number for this episode. Yeah. There's good moments. I definitely wouldn't say it's a bad episode. It exists, and there's something endearing about it. But that's
you can't start off at Cold Hill, pretty much invoke the very episode of the first season, An Unearthly Child, and then basically come up with this. You just can't do that and expect to get it.
Well, you can. They did.
But you shouldn't. So,
Anyway, that's our show, guys. I was telling Chris before, life, well, you know, it also finds a way, but it also gets in the way. So the show will have to, from like after the next 2 weeks, it'll have to be a half hour later.
Okay.
Which
I guess we'll just have to cancel.
We can't.
This is it.
This is the final episode.
We'll come back when Doctor Who comes back.
No, we'll never come back then. But no, I just want to let y'all know. So not this next week or the following week, but the week after, it'll be midnight showing of our show. But that's it for now. We will figure out what we're doing next week and get back to you, the people, all 4 of you watching this. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Alonze.
Ciao.